This episode of Beyond the Closing is brought to you by First United Land Transfer.
Hi, I'm Alanna Bilski, and this is Ian Bell. We are managers here at First United Land Transfer, and we just wanted to talk about what goes on behind the scenes for title processing. So, Ian, would you like to talk real briefly about what title insurance is?
Sure. So today we're going to do a little something called closing conversations, and we're going to do a couple of these. So today we're just going to get started with doing these podcasts and getting into some closing conversations here that we'll elaborate with a little bit more in depth in future episodes. But the title process, what is it? And this is geared particularly towards a first-time home buyer, somebody that has no knowledge of what is title insurance. When I got into this industry, 19 years ago, I had no idea what title insurance was. Today, I think I know a little bit, but learn every day. But title insurance, when you're a home buyer, we're going to issue you something called a owner's title insurance policy. And what that does is that protects you from anything from the point that the day that you purchase your home, the day of closing, going backwards. We protect from things that may or may not have already happened. Things such as liens that are filed at the courthouse, mortgages, claims, issues with the states, things of that nature. We go to the county records. We search the public records going back 60 years, and just make sure that everything's been conveyed properly. No fraudulent deeds, things like that nature.
And also that if things were sold out of an estate or out of a tax sale or foreclosure, that the proper people signed for them.
Yep, good point, Alanna. Yeah,
proper people were noticed.
Yep, if there's a foreclosure in the chain of title, we check everything that's filed with the foreclosure, making sure interested parties may have been notified, make sure that everything was done as it should have been. That's a good point.
And we do also check for bankruptcies and child support, things that might not be directly related to the title but can still affect the title if they're not paid in full.
For a home buyer, it should give you what we call title assurance, or peace of mind. So that when we have closing here at First United, we're giving you an owner's title insurance policy. If something happens post-closing, like you get a knock on the door, hey, I got a tax bill in the mail, or why wasn't my water or sewer bill paid, something like that, that's something that we as the title company will rectify for you because we're giving you an owner's title policy. So when does the title insurance company get involved in the process? So we get involved in the process when one of our clients, being a realtor, a mortgage broker, a bank, credit union, even the consumer, contacts us and says, hey, I have a home under agreement. I'd like for you to proceed and do the title work. So at that point, we go ahead, we assign the file to one of our processors. We have several different processors here, many bilingual, so we can assist a very large part of our community, which is helpful. But we initiate the title work. So what does that even mean? We open a file with our title software. We order the property search, which is our examining team is going to search public records, like I briefly mentioned, for mortgages, liens, and all that kind of stuff. We order tax certifications with the elected tax collectors in the municipality that the property resides in, water sewer certifications, anything that could attach itself to the real estate. We address those items up front. We get our certifications back. We compile our title commitment, which is, just like a mortgage commitment. It's us saying that we're going to insure the property, but we have to do this, that, and the other in order to get to closing. So I mentioned how we get the title order from a real estate agent, a lender, a mortgage company, the consumer. So whose choice is it to choose the title company that works on their transaction?
It's always the buyer's choice. Whether you're purchasing a new property or you're refinancing a property you always have, it's always the buyer, the borrower's choice to choose the title company. You might want to Google search, look at reviews, call and ask how they would handle certain situations. If you have a unique situation, you're helping your mother sell their house, or you're buying a property from your mother. Mother is not doing too great. There might be a power of attorney involved. Ask the title company how they would handle that.
So, Alanna, you mentioned doing a Google search. I mean, how many people, when they're doing anything, like, okay, I need a good mechanic, I'm going to Google Lehigh Valley mechanics or whatever, and I'm going to read reviews. So everybody does it. No matter what it is that you're looking to do, people read Google reviews. So I would highly advise to do just that. I think we have a pretty good online presence there, which we're very proud of.
And as a buyer, most buyers don't know what a title company is. So I'd say most buyers ask their realtor, their lender, who they would choose.
So what should you even look for then when you're looking for a title company? Like if I'm Googling Lehigh Valley title companies, okay, I find First United Land Transfer. I see that they have several offices. That's convenient. We have offices in Allentown, Bethlehem, and Palmerton. But what should I be looking for? Like the costs? Like how do I figure out what's the cost of title insurance? Like who determines that?
Luckily, title insurance is regulated in Pennsylvania. So all title agencies, no matter who you deal with, are basing the policy premiums off the purchase price and the loan amount. And if you have a loan at the same time that you buy, we call that a simultaneous title policy. And so you only pay for each dollar once. So purchase price is $100,000, loan amount is $80,000. Your policy premium up to $80,000 you're paying once, and then the owner's policy is that additional difference. If that makes any sense, that is how all title agencies have to charge for title insurance. And then there's additional endorsements. Lenders usually like additional coverages, and there's 3 standard. They also require a closing protection letter. And all of that means that every file is going to be based off the purchase price and the loan amount. Any additional fees like FedEx fees, closing notary fees, that sort of thing, those are additional that are being charged by the agency. And so that is something that you might want to consider when choosing a title company. You might also want to give them a call, see if they're responsive to your questions, if they answer the phone, how quickly they respond. So that will all
communication
be
is so important too. Yeah, give the title company a call. Call a couple of them. Call 3 Lehigh Valley title companies. Ask all of them for a quote. Compare the quotes because, like Alanna mentioned, owner's title insurance and lender's title insurance, that is regulated by the Pennsylvania Department of Insurance. So that's not going to change whether you're at First United or some title company out in Pittsburgh. Those are going to be the same standard rates. We really are here to help the consumer purchase their home, whether it's the first home or the 10th home, in the most cost-effective and enjoyable experience possible, which is why we highly encourage making a phone call, talking to a staff member to see what it is that First United has to offer compared to any other company that does the same thing. You're going to do the same thing if you're shopping for a Toyota and you're going to this place or that place, who's friendlier, who has the better experience. So it's your right as the consumer to do that, so go ahead and do that. So we mentioned how we start our files, where we get the files from, searching public records, certifications, all that. What about the day of closing, the big day? It's an exciting and incredibly nerve-wracking day. I bought my first house a few years ago after doing this for almost 20 years, and I blacked out for about 20 minutes. I signed my name where I was told to sign, just because it's such a big moment in your life, which is why we love doing what we do so much. But closing day, you'll probably be with your real estate agent doing a walkthrough, making sure the house is all good, getting your bank check or whatever you need for closing that day, valid ID. Then you come to First United, and that's when all the magic happens. It's a celebration of your special moment with buying your home. We have our closing cafes in all of our offices with the fresh coffee and all the treats, our cookies, our popcorn machine, our ice cream Fridays. But it's the staff that's really the most exciting part, because we really love what we do, and you'll see that when you talk to us or come into the office. We encourage you to come into the office before the big day. Just come in and talk to us where we're at. We'll have to sit down and talk about what's going on with your file, what's the next step.
So if we had to give some tips to buyers, especially new homeowners, number one, there's so much wire fraud out there. Never trust an email or a text message. Always be willing to pick up the phone, Google search somebody, and make sure you're calling the right people. We always require bank checks for most of our transactions. If somebody does need to do a wire, we have our own way of doing that. That is secure, but we want to make sure that we discuss that prior to you sending the money.
Yeah.
Another big tip, because we see it so often, name changes. So if you do have a name change, make sure that you have photo ID that reflects that, and make sure that especially if you have two last names, that those last names match what we're going to be putting on the deed. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. We're always available.
Yeah. We're, even though Google might say that First United is 9 to 5, I think that's what it says. Even as recently as today, we had one of our settlement agents about 10 miles south of here at 7:30 meeting a buyer before they went to work to sign their part of the paperwork, and then up into our Palmerton office 3 hours later to finish up the transaction. So we will always find a way to make it happen. So any questions, give us a call, and Alanna, myself, or any of the staff members are more than happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Yeah. The closing day is about you, so we make sure to make it that way.
Of course. Thank you for watching today's episode of Beyond the Closing. Until next time, we'll see you soon.